So I got a quick little video showing you how to use a modern controller on a Dreamcast. So first off, you're going to need a Dreamcast. You can go ahead and plug it up, do whatever, and then you take your modern controller, little Xbox One controller, and then you use it on it. You get it? Man, I bet you thought it would work, didn't you? Wait, did you hear that? It works! What? And so here we are, the Wingman Converter SD. This is by Brook. I've used the PS2 controller adapter, which allows you to hook up a few different modern controllers. And this one, of course, is going to be for the Dreamcast and the Saturn. And you can hook up a plethora of modern controllers, or at least a lot more modern than the Dreamcast and the Saturn. You also can hook it up to the PC if that's something that you desire to do, and have a nice little diagram kind of going over that a little bit too, but I think it's going to be a pretty straightforward install. Whenever you open it up, it looks something like this, and whenever you take it out, it looks something like this. Plus, if you open it up, it even comes with some stickers. Pretty much it for the unboxing. That's really everything that was with it. But say you want to actually hook it up. Right here we have a Dreamcast because I don't have a Saturn on hand. You take one of these cables. Can you guess which one? Probably the one that fits in there. Ta-da! The other device that I had for the PS2 had where you could do firmware updates, and this is the exact same, so I'm going to jump over to the PC and run through that.
And here we are at the Brook website. This is, again, the Wingman SD, and we're going to be looking over all this stuff. SD being Saturn and Dreamcast, probably. And there are a ton of different controllers that it supports and a lot of different custom configurations that you can do. Vibration, wow, crazy. So right here is pretty much just telling you everything I've already told you, so I'm not even going to bother reading with that. The features, this is just what was on the back of the box. As you can see, you can wire up some different ones, or you can use the wireless to be able to connect to it. You can use Switch controller, PlayStation, or Xbox, you know, a big old range of options for you there. And then this is going to tell you how to get through some of the steps. I assume you probably only really need to know this stuff if you're having some trouble. So, as you can see right here, it'll tell you, oh, the green on means this, and the red on means that. And they do have different things for the different controllers as well. So you can do things like turbo or remap settings. You can remap some stuff, which is really cool, especially with having the adaptive controller. So that means if you have some sort of disability or just have a completely different way that you want to play the game, you are more than welcome to do that, which is super cool. So again, like what I was saying, if it's green, you probably are good. You can, of course, hook it up wired pretty easily through a bunch of different stuff. And I think some of them, you actually need to pair them, like with the PS3 before. What you'd have to do is you'd have to plug it in wired and turn it on and then remove the USB cable, as you can see. So it's pretty easy to pair that kind of stuff as well. And then the biggest thing that I want to see, here's a big list of what the buttons do if you want to actually have it all laid out for you and you want to configure everything, or if you want to mess with the turbo functions, by all means, feel free to do that. I'm not going to be doing any of that. I'm not going to be remapping anything. I'm just going through the standard stuff, and I'm going to be updating the firmware. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. So here is the firmware. All I did is I went to, I think you can find it under products, but I just went to download. I went to Dreamcast, and then here's the Wingman SD. I'm on PC, so I'm going to click PC, and you can see right here, whenever they do some updates, they've added some actual features that you might want, like fix random pause problem. That one sounds pretty good, so I'd go ahead and probably update, and to be able to go, like, run through all this is incredibly easy. Let me show you. So you click on this. I downloaded it and then I extracted it. We'll run the program. and it says, wait a moment, firmware downloading. So this will automatically go through and make sure that you're getting the best firmware you can, and of course check the version and make sure that you actually are. And whenever you do that, you'll be able to just connect it to your PC and set it up. And that's pretty much it. Now let's jump over to the console.
So the process for this is fairly simple. All you do is you'll, of course, plug in your controller adapter. I have it hooked up right here. Whenever it's not connected, it will be flashing a little. Whenever you want to pair it, you hold it down, and then it will start flashing a lot. Then you take your controller and you make it flash a lot in pairing mode, and then they'll connect. I'll show you. So that's flashing out of focus, and now this will be flashing also kind of out of focus. And then at some point, I will focus it because they will be flashing in unison. Or rather, they won't be flashing at all. Oh, it rumbled. That means it's alive, and I have to kill it. Wait, no, it means that it's paired. So now we can play some games.
Alright, so here it is. I got my Xbox One controller paired. Obviously, you can tell it's working. I am not going to show this up at the TV anymore. I am going to go ahead and accept practice mode, and we'll probably run through like arcade mode or something, and I will show you how all it goes, and hopefully you'll like that. Now, I do have a capture card. A lot of the times, I do actually not use it. It's just a paperweight because I really like showing off the CRT PVM kind of look. And this is on my Panasonic D1920Y. And I think this is just such a fantastic device. I do have more videos on this if you want to check it out. And speaking of giving some shout outs, I do want to go ahead and say that this device, the Brook Wingman SD converter, was actually sent to me for free for review. I didn't pay for it, but that does not mean that this is a paid review. I'm not even really reviewing it, to be honest. It's a very straightforward product. You know, it doesn't have a ton of nuance. Like, if you want to hook up your wireless controllers to your Saturn or your Dreamcast, it is incredibly straightforward. There's not really... My review is, does it work? Yes, it does work. Am I having a good time? Yes, I am having a good time. Dude, I have a Super Nintendo video coming out soon on me using it on the BT D1920Y on this display you're looking at right now. And I just absolutely got destroyed in like every Super Nintendo game I tried playing. And this, the Dreamcast, I actually played this game quite a bit, like, whenever I was younger. So I'm like... Obviously, I don't play it anymore. Like, this actually isn't even my Dreamcast. Shout out to you, Mark, for letting me borrow it. But I was very familiar with the controls and playing it. But again, obviously, I don't practice all the time because I don't even own a Dreamcast. This is the first time that I've played this in like a few years. But it all just felt so natural going through. That's where I was going with this. If you're like, man, what is he talking about? It felt very good going through. Me having vague familiarity with the control scheme, me being comfortable with the Xbox One controller that I used before, and the quality of the device. The fact that it was so easy to set up was fantastic, and the fact that the controller feels good to use. I'm sure that's a huge question mark for everyone watching this is, well, you got it working, how is it? And to that I would say, it feels pretty dang good. If you hooked up some sort of internal modification for this, where you didn't have the adapter being obvious, I don't think, if I didn't know much about the Dreamcast, that I wouldn't understand that this isn't a native device. Like, it is very smooth, there is like no lag. I think that speaks to the quality of the converter and of the Xbox One controller. If you did it with a 360 controller, it might not be quite as good. Like, the 360 controllers are really good, obviously, but it's still, like, I feel like the Xbox One controllers have just a tiny bit more of responsiveness to them. Generally speaking, not specifically with this device. I actually have only tested the Xbox One controller, but I have no doubt in my mind that why would the other controllers not work? Like, I don't even own half of the other controllers, so I'm sorry if you wanted me to specifically test those other controllers. I will be unable to do that, and this video will not be about that, but this video is about showing off Soul Calibur, which for one cool game. So there you go. If I was just showing off Soul Calibur, you should be happy, be like, dang, dude, Siegfried, what a guy. Look at him go. He just keeps that big sword, keeps lunging at him. And the other thing, the Brook converter. Pretty sick. I really tried getting a Saturn, but I don't know why. Saturns, I've just had no luck getting. Like, this video actually took a while just because I wanted to do a Saturn. I wanted to buy a Saturn, and I just could not find any Saturns anywhere. It took forever for me to do that, and then I couldn't even find any Dreamcasts either. But Dreamcasts I have seen around on occasion, but Saturns, I don't even know the last time I had seen a Saturn anywhere near locally. Not just at, like, a video game store, but even on like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, things of that nature. And a lot of the eBay ones I was looking at just seemed like they surprisingly were not a good deal compared to how I've seen them locally, and they had like really long shipping times. So I kind of messed myself up. I was like, well, like if day one I went ahead and I had where I was going to go ahead and buy it online, I probably would have been able to show off the Saturn as well, but I kind of waited around a little bit because I was like, oh, that's so much time, I'm sure I could find one locally, and of course, I did not find one locally, so that happened, and that is unfortunate, but I think showing off the Dreamcast, like this is running really smooth. I had no issues at all going through and setting this bad boy up, and updating the firmware is so easy. You just get a micro USB cable, I believe is what I was using. You plug that into the device, then you plug it into your PC. It tells you to push a button or something, like it walks you through it on the software. It has a nice little on-screen prompt, so you run through that, and then your firmware is up to date, and it gives you some bug fixes and stuff like that. I don't think it actually gave me any new features or anything of the sort, really. Like, no, like, crazy new controllers. I mean, what the extra controller would it give me? There aren't any, like, big new controllers coming out. So, anyway, the TLDR, cool device. Let me know if you have any questions about it. I am actually going to let this video run out. I'm going to fight Inferno on this. So if you want to stick around and watch that, feel free to. If not, you can head on out now and tell me if there's anything else you want to see with this device. Again, I did do this on the PS2. There's a converter by the same company, so check that out. And until the next one, take care. Goodbye.
Battle 1, fight! You lose. Battle 2, fight! This you win! Final battle, fight! Out of the ring! This victory strengthens the soul of Siegfried.